Welcome back to Sprague over Homestead. I'm Kanan, and so today's subject is about storing gasoline and diesel. A lot of times people are going to ask questions on how can you do it and actually can you do it. Today I'm going to go over how we store our gasoline and our diesel here on the farm. So we'll break this up into two pieces. We'll start with the gasoline. Now gasoline itself, typically we get this from the pump, and here we don't have an ethanol free option. So typically we use only regular on the farm because nothing requires anything with higher octane. So this is typically 87 to 89 octane depending on where we go locally. Now gasoline without any stabilizer in it is good for about 3 months. After 3 months you start to lose the volatility in gasoline. You can start to smell the difference between it. So to prevent it from losing its volatility and the ethanol from becoming a problem, normally for the gasoline I use just a simple stabilizer. Now stable is something that's pretty common. You can find it at almost any gas station. You can find it on Amazon, any kind of local store, Walmart, Home Depot, anything else. This is a pretty common stuff. Now an ounce of this will treat 2.5 gallons. So a 5-gallon container, easily just put in 2 ounces and that'll last you for 3 months. Now per the instructions you can get it up to 6 months at least using double the dosage. So 2 ounces per 2.5 or 4 ounces that go in here. And that'll typically last 6 months. Now beyond that, the packaging itself will not guarantee anything beyond it, but I can tell you going double the dose has gone beyond 6 months for us here. And beyond there, I typically try not to use gasoline any older than that. There's also other products out there. Now this is a bottle of Quick Shot from AMSOIL. This is also a fuel stabilizer, but it has a cleaner in it to help with sticky injectors or carburetors or any ethanol problems. So you can use one that's strictly stabilizer to keep gasoline fresh, or you can use a stabilizer with fuel injector or fuel system cleaner to help out as needed. Now, if you ever ask this question, a lot of times you're going to get somebody that says you should get ethanol-free gas if you can. Now, gasoline, the problem with ethanol is that ethanol likes water. It helps to absorb water and helps to rust things from the inside out. So if you've ever looked at a metal container that has had gas in it for a long time without any stabilizer, what you'll start to see is corrosion. That ethanol helps to trap water into your fuel, and while you're turning it over quickly in a fuel system like a car or a tractor or a lawnmower or anything that uses gasoline, you won't typically have that problem. But storing gasoline with ethanol without the treatment or the stabilizer means that you're going to start to collect water in the fuel system, and that can cause corrosion. Now when it comes to diesel, it is going to be a similar situation. There is a product available from Stable itself and many others that you can use to put into diesel. Now it will store diesel a same time amount, 3 months, 6 months, etc. and there's a dosage on the bottle itself. It's similar in ounces per gallon, so it makes it pretty easy. Now one of these containers here, this can treat up to 80 gallons. So if you have a large drum of fuel you're trying to keep safe, well, you can probably just open the big end here, dump this in per the recommendation and the storage time, and you can keep everything fresh. Now diesel itself is more problematic with cold weather. So diesel at around 30 to 32 degrees Fahrenheit will start to gel. And what that means is if you've ever tried to pour jelly out of a jar, diesel as it gets colder and colder and colder will gel. So if you're going to use diesel in winter and you're trying to store it, you can store it, yes, but if you need some anti-gelling properties, you can buy something like this. This is an anti-gel liquid, and you can just pour it into the container you're storing the diesel in, and it will help it prevent it from gelling at around freeze level and anything colder. Now this will go down to only a certain temperature, so if you're something ridiculous like 80 degrees below zero, double check that your product that you're going to buy and put in there is going to work for that low of temperature. Now in either case, one of these, it's easiest to put the product treatment in first. So stabilizers are going on either an anti-gel, a fuel system treatment. Put it in the container first if possible. When you actually add fuel into the container, that will help kind of stir up and mix thoroughly the treatment going in and the fluid going in. Now, if you have to do it afterwards where you put the fuel in, say as you're doing this from the gas station or the fuel center and you're bringing it home, You can then put in the treatment and just take it for 15 and 20 seconds, shake it up as needed, help get it thoroughly mixed in. If you're adding it to a vehicle or a tractor or anything else to store it over the winter, make sure you add it in there. Drive the vehicle around if you're adding it directly to the vehicle versus coming out of a treated can. Drive it around just to help kind of mix it up, and then it's also going to allow the fuel to get from the fuel tank all the way through the engine. That way it'll treat everything kind of in between in the extremes. That way everything is going to be treated front to back, and you don't have to worry about the tank being treated but nothing else along the way. So you have gel in the system if it's a diesel, or you have ethanol problems in a gas vehicle or tractor. So hopefully that makes sense to you guys. Can everything be stored? Absolutely. You have to use the right products for what you're destined to use it for, and then the time frame you're going to be using. Now I have put links down in the description so you can see exactly what we use here on the farm if you want to check it out, or check out any of the competitor brands. Be sure to do that. Go down and check the links. We'll see you next time here for Sprague Homestead. Happy Homestead, and treat your fuel.